Well, at least the weather's nice, huh?
But it's a beautiful spring day. We're here with John Sidarski, the fish guy. What's going on? What do you got on your shirt there?
The fish market.
Yeah?
It's all right. I don't need to do an advertising.
No, I'm
plug.
just wondering what that. I just didn't.
Oh, it's my logo.
See your logo, right? Are you still at Brant Point?
No, I moved.
No, you moved out
across from the Stop and Shop.
It's a big operation you got out there.
Yeah,
now, right?
much bigger.
You do everything.
Yep.
Hot
I'm a
food,
butcher now
cold
too.
food, meat. You have a car wash
Great
out
plug.
back or something like
Yeah,
that?
something like that.
You like doing everything. Chinese
Right.
food? No Chinese.
You know, basically, I think the situation that we have going on right now with our harbor is that the pressures of development, and it's happened in every major city. I mean, although we're not a major city,
Yeah.
it's happened everywhere that there's development side by side, fisheries.
Right.
It has an impact. Now, you know, I'm not trying to lay blame on development because obviously development is very important to the island, and we're not going to be able to stop development. But if we don't mitigate the effects of development on our harbor, the fishery is definitely going to die, and it's probably illustrated by the fact that at this point, the fishery is in a clear state of collapse.
Right.
This year, I keep records every year of how many I buy each year, and this year I bought half as many as I bought last year.
Scallops.
Yeah, it's been going downhill for 3 years in a row.
Yep.
Now, in the 7 years I bought them, there was 1 year that it went up, but that was probably just because it was my second year doing it, and I was new to the. I wasn't as new to the game, so more people came to sell to me for whatever reason. But you know,
we
right
talked
now,
to George Andrews yesterday. You know George?
yeah, I do.
Like
He sold scallops to me a couple
and
times.
he said that this is the worst he's seen. You know, he's been fishing for 70 years, some of the worst he's seen, and he said next year's going to be as bad.
Well,
the
I
seed
hope
aren't
that's
there.
not true, because what I've heard from the fishermen is that there is seed there, more seed than they've seen in a long time, which is a really positive sign. But you know, everybody has their own idea of what's wrong with the harbor. I can only go by what I've seen the 7 years that I've been buying. I've observed the fishery, you know?
Right.
I've been able to see what's going on, and I've asked a lot of questions from the fishermen, and I've learned a little bit about it. And I read the Woods Hole report too, which we spent $250,000 on that report, the town of Nantucket did. And a lot of people just trashed that report as soon as it came out. But that report had really excellent science in it, and it explained very clearly what the situation with our harbor is.
Is it the green lawns in Monomoy and Swamp that are doing us in, or what?
You know, I don't think it's specifically those lawns, but what happens is nitrogen, when it mixes into the water, when you get too much of it, it creates a chain reaction. Oxygen is depleted from the system, and that affects the most fragile things that depend on oxygen, which just happen to be scallops in our harbor. And if we don't flush out the effects of development, like it's like a big toilet, you know.
Well, now,
when it gets stinky, you flush it, you know.
The larger subject of development. Now you started out saying, and I hear everybody say this. You know, you can't stop development, but
That's
and then
correct.
they continue on. Why can't you stop development?
Because I'm not Bill Gates or I'm not some CEO. I'm too.
But when you say you, I mean, why can't we?
Because it's a free society. And economics is what drives development.
Right.
And if people have the money to develop, they will. You know, no matter how you slice it.
Everybody wants to have their piece of the pie.
Well, you know, it's just obvious when you look at what's happening on Nantucket with the houses that are being built, and they're just getting more and more.
But isn't the island going to get built out at some point?
Eventually, it will. But
at that point, will development stop?
Yes.
Of course.
Then why does it have to stop then and not now or 5 years from now?
Like I said, it's a free society.
Right.
You know, if people want to build houses here, they're gonna.
Then.
When the island bad enough.
But
yet.
when the island
That's
gets
why.
built out, there will be no
enough.
more legal buildable lots. It'll still be a free society.
Well, and
there'll
building will
be-
still go on because the houses that are old then will be ripped down and new houses will be put in their place. But you won't be making more houses.
I'm not convinced that that's true either.
Well,
I mean, you could.
I'd like to think that with the the checks and balances that we do have in place, the conservation land basically that we have on Nantucket, that's sacrosanct and it's never going to be touched. That's what I'd like to think.
We hope.
So you know, you can second guess it to death.
Right.
We don't know what'll really happen, but we've just got to have a little bit of faith.
Yeah.
But I think that's the point I'm trying to make is that, you know, people seem to be waiting for this watershed event to happen beyond which we can then start to really control growth.
Well,
what if that watershed event isn't coming?
I don't think the watershed event is going to really affect growth. What it does is it gives you a tool to make regulations that will help protect your harbor. See, we have to mitigate development however we can.